gonna prime my eyes with the Anastasia Beverly Hills. Welcome to my channel. Today we are getting into the Manny X Morphe Glam palette. I just went and picked this up and we're going to be going over all the little details, swatches, trying it on, using the highlighters. So let's get right on into this video. So first off, this palette is $20, which I am a little bit surprised by. I don't really know why, but I feel like their collabs are a little bit more expensive than their regular palettes, but this palette is a pretty decent size. It is bigger than like an Anastasia palette, but for Morphe this is a smaller palette. But for $20, I think you get a pretty fair amount of shadows and you get two really awesome highlighters that we are going to get into in a little bit. But for $20, I think this is a great price. It is a pretty sturdy cardboard. It doesn't feel like they're normal like plasticky, you know what I mean? So it is a pretty sturdy palette, and I do love that it's white and purple with like the marbling. I don't know if you can see it, but I like the little purple accents, and it goes along with the inside of the palette, which is very warm with orangey and purple accents in it. The other thing that I did not pick up is the brush set. The brush set was $48, but upon looking at it in person, I realized that I do have a lot of the brushes that were already in that set. I know this one was in there, which is the E4 brush, which I used for my bronzer today. And then, what is the other one that was in there? It might have been this one. I know there was a few brushes that I was like, oh, I definitely know that I already have those. So I just decided not to pick those up. So let's get into the swatches. I'm going to do my swatches per usual. So I do my swatches like across here from, oh, is it your left or your right? You know, I go from this row and then across and this row and across. I don't remember which direction, but I do swatch them from the bottom of my arm up. And I was doing some yard work and I got some like little scrapes on my arm, and I did blood work earlier today. So, I do have a little cuts and stuff on my arm, so disregard that. But let's get into the swatches. So we have Dust Cloud, Scorpio, Fire Witch, Leo, Sophie, Spellbound, Cancer, Zaya, Boy Next Door, Gimnita, Aries, Hal, and then the highlighters are at the top, and I swatched Apollo first and then Nova. And just to give you guys an up close of the palette, that's what it looks like, and all the shade names and everything. Now, upon the swatches, there were two shades that kind of gave me a little bit of trouble. The first one was Gimnita. I think that's how you pronounce it, but this kind of darker, plummier shade. I did have to work to kind of build it up on the swatch a little bit. The other shades didn't give me any other problems, but this one was a little bit finessey. And then the other one was Scorpio. It was a little bit flaky, but all the other ones seemed pretty smooth. So those were the only two I wanted to mention, and I'm definitely going to be using these two today just to test them out to see how they work, blend out, and everything. Also, did you guys see the swatches of these highlighters? I cannot wait to put these highlighters on my face. That is that for the swatches. Now, you guys should let me know in the comments if you think I should do a 3 looks 1 palette. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as well if you want me to do 3 looks with this palette, because honestly, looking at this palette, this is a Manny palette. I feel like anyone that's watched like one video of his, this is a very Manny palette. It's a really good everyday palette. Like, even if you cover up these shades, like, you have pretty good neutral everyday shades with like a little bit of like pops of colors. So for $20, like, I think this is a really good palette to gift, like, already just looking at it, like, even for like 13-year-olds, people just getting into makeup, people that don't have a lot of makeup, people that don't wear a lot of color. I think this is a good palette for those types of people. And then also for like traveling reasons, because even like these shades are probably great as bronzers. I literally just thought of that, and I probably should have tried it on my cheeks. I might be doing a 3 looks 1 palette with this video, depending on how everything goes today. So I'll probably use these as a bronzer eventually. Another thing that I wanted to know about this palette was that this is really similar to the Manny X Makeup Geek palette. I say that only because it has the kind of warm neutrals with like that airy shade is super similar to the one that was in the Morphe palette. That like blue brownish shift is like a staple Manny color. And if you guys don't know what the Makeup Geek palette looks like, I'll have this palette here and the Makeup Geek palette over here so you guys can see the similarities. But this is $20 and you get a little bit more variety in there, but I'm dying to get this on my face. So first off, I do think I'm going to be leaning into the kind of plummier shades in this palette, especially the Gamnita. Like I said earlier, I do want to test this one out. And of course I have to use Aries because this is like the funnest color in a palette. So I have to use that one. But I'm going to prime my eyes with the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow primer, and I'll get right back with ya. All right, I went ahead and zoomed you guys in so you can see how everything looks on my eyes. This one spot is irritating me so badly. I don't know why it won't stay blended on my inner corner. But the other thing that I wanted to mention that I forgot to mention earlier and that I need to start working on in my videos is that this palette is available right now. It came out today. So if you wanted to pick it up, it is available today online and in store at Morphe. Sometimes I just forget that people don't know that, so just putting that out there. So I am going to be trying to use as many shades as I possibly can in this video, but I'm going to start off with the shade Sophie. And Sophie and the Boy Next Door look pretty similar, but Sophie seems like it's a little bit warmer and the Boy Next Door is a little bit more of a neutral transition shade. But I'm just going to be putting this in this inner part right here, kind of blend it into that, to my nose contour. I tried out a different thing with my nose today. What do you guys think? Is it too much? I was like, I wonder what happens if I try this brush. And then it was like your nose is contoured. And I was like, oh, I'm not used to this. And then I am gonna blend it a little bit outwards so I can blend it into another shade. There we go. It is pretty similar to what I have on my nose, the bronzer. So I mean, if I use this as a bronzer, I think that Sophie shade would be pretty good to use. Next shade I'm gonna use is Fire Rich, which is like a deeper salmon color. And I'm gonna put this just in my crease. So far, everything's blending out so well. I had a little bit of a traumatic experience. If you guys are subscribed and you've seen that video with the Jeffree X Morphe palette, that was a disaster. That video was so awful. And the palette was just not working for me in that video. And I tried to exchange it. And the exchange palette is better, but it's just not my favorite palette. But so far, this one is working really, really well. Like a lot better than I kind of anticipated it to work. But we haven't gotten to those shades that are giving me some troubles. So we'll just enjoy these nice matte shades. And then I kind of want to blend, I went a little bit too high on my brow bone. So I'm going to take Dust Cloud, which is a little bit deeper than my skin tone. I'm not going to put it like right on my brow bone. Maybe, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to use that to help blend out that line, which is blending away like a piece of cake. Pretty awesome. Pretty happy about that. All right, now we're gonna get into that tricky shade, which is the Gamnita. If I'm saying that wrong, please correct me. But I'm gonna take that shade and I'm gonna pick up a bit of it and I'm gonna start putting it in my outer corner. So far, it's building up a lot nicer than it did on the swatches. This looks so much better than the swatches. I'm actually really happy about that. Because I was like, no, I can't have the one magenta shade be going wrong in this palette? It's blending into the other shades pretty nicely, and it's still building up pretty well. I'm not having any kind of like weird patchiness going on like I did with the other palette. So far, everything's good. All right, now I'm gonna take a little bit of Spellbound, which is like a warmer chocolatey brown, and I'm gonna just deepen up this outer V a little bit more, but not so much that it starts bringing out that chocolatey color. I still want that magenta to peek through. I just want it a little teeny bit darker. And this is building up pretty nicely as well. Pretty good pigmentation. I'm actually really happy with how this is looking so far. Now, before I work on my eyelids, I am gonna go and work on my lower lash line. So I'm gonna take Spellbound and mix it with Gamnita. Mix those two together. And I'm gonna run that in this like outer lower lash line area. All right, now I wanna blend the edges of everything just a little bit more. So I'm gonna mix Sophie and Fire Witch together and work on blending some of the edges. And this brush was stained black, so it is clean, but it's just a little stained. All right, I like the way everything is looking. I'm actually so happy because I really honestly did not expect this to work as well as it is working. So now, of course, I have to take Aries because duh, it's gorgeous. And I think I'm just gonna take it with a dry brush just to see what it looks like. It does go on pretty well with a dry brush. There's no like fallout or anything, but I do want to wet it because I feel like once you start wetting your eyeshadows, you just can't really go back from that. Oh yeah, look at that difference. All right, I got Aries on my eyes, and I think I do want to put a little bit something in between the matte and Aries. So I'm gonna try out the shade Cancer, which is like a shimmery plum shade. And I'm gonna take this dry, maybe? Oh yeah, I'll just take it dry. And I'm just gonna put it in between Aries and that matte shade because I feel like it needed a little bit more something to help it blend. All right, now I'm gonna take the shade Scorpio, which is that other shade that was giving me some problems. And I'm gonna take it dry just because I'm really curious about what's gonna happen. Put it on my inner corner. So far it looks pretty good. I'm gonna wet it a little bit because I feel like the bling is not there. Oh, I really like how that looks. All right, so now I'm gonna take the shade Zaya, which I haven't used yet, and I'm gonna put this in the front of my lower lash line, and I'm gonna blend it a little bit lower than my actual tear duct and into the other shades. And then I do want to take a little bit of Aries, and I'm gonna take it on an angled brush, and I'm gonna wet it, and then I'm gonna put it right where I kind of left that area open really precisely. I don't even know if you guys can tell a difference, but it's a little tiny difference. All right, and this is the eye look pretty much done. I think I am gonna add some mascara to this, but before I zoom you guys out and finish my makeup, I do want to try out the highlighters on myself. So Nova was the one that was pretty light and looks pretty blinding. So I'm gonna take Apollo first, which is a little bit of the deeper one. And I'm gonna put this one by itself on this side of my cheek. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit and let's see how this goes. Oh, this is a very easy everyday highlighter for me. It's not too dark and it has a little bit of gold in it, but it's honestly a lot lighter than what I thought it was gonna be like. Layer it on a little bit, and then I'm gonna wipe off my brush and pull my hair back on this side, and I'm gonna try Nova on the other side. Oh yeah, Nova is here to party. Yeah, Nova is most definitely my favorite out of here. I do think you can make it a little bit. Let me take it with my finger. I'm gonna take Apollo on my finger. Yeah, I feel like it works a little bit. It has a little bit more of like a bam in your face when it's your finger. Let me do Nova. Oh yeah, when you use your finger, it is definitely a little bit more out there. But Nova is nice if you like a bright highlight. This one is a really good everyday highlighter, but I'm just gonna mix them and layer them over each other because I do have somewhere to go. I don't want to look like a lunatic today, at least. Put a little bit of Nova on my nose. I don't know why, but I feel like it's just not really wanting to stick. I think that's why it worked a little bit better with my fingers. And then another thing that I want to do is I think I want to add a little bit of blush because this is a little bit brighter. So I'm going to take Firewatch and the E4 brush. I'm just going to take a teeny, dab it off a teeny bit. Yeah, I feel like adding that as a blush really helped to tie everything together a little bit more. It is a little hard to blend out as a blush, but I mean, it works. All right, I'm gonna finish up my makeup and then I'll come back for some final thoughts. All right, and I just finished it up with some mascara and then I used the Fenty Beauty Mademoiselle lipstick in Flamingo Acid, which matches that pink in the outer corner like spot on. But honestly, I am very pleasantly surprised by this palette. I was not expecting it to be as good as it actually is for $20. I am so surprised. Let me know if you guys pick this up. Let me know if you guys want a 3 looks 1 palette. I'm giving this palette 2 thumbs up. Great price, good quality. I'm a little shook about it. And I think it's a really good everyday. Like, this is so something I would wear to a holiday party. So I really like the look that I did. I'm excited to dig into this a little bit more. Let me know your thoughts, and if you wanted to see my Jeffree Star X Morphe video, I'll have those linked down below if you want to see the disaster of what happened in that. I'll link them down below for you guys, but other than that, this is the end of the video. So if you want to see my last video, I'll have my last video right over here for you guys. This video is suggested to you by YouTube, and my face will be right up here where you can click on it and subscribe to my channel.